Failure rarely destroys a dream. Exposure does. Most ambitions do not collapse because they were impossible. They collapse because they were announced. You think speaking the plan makes it real. You think telling people makes you accountable. You think visibility creates seriousness. Reality is colder. Many transformations die the moment they become a conversation. You tell the world before the roots touch the ground, before the habits have weight, before the discipline has entered your nervous system. And something subtle happens. What was sacred becomes social. What was internal becomes performative. What was once a private process turns into a public identity. You stop asking what must be repeated. You start asking how it looks. You begin measuring reactions. Approval, encouragement, curiosity, doubt. And slowly, without noticing, the quiet work of becoming someone new is replaced by the performance of appearing serious. You are no longer building. You are auditioning. And once transformation becomes a performance, most people lose the patience to finish it. You know the feeling. That electric moment when something inside you decides life must change. Maybe it is your body. Maybe your habits. Maybe your discipline. Maybe your focus. You imagine a sharper mind, a stronger body, a cleaner life, a version of yourself you might finally respect. The decision feels powerful, motivating, clear, so you share it. A message to a friend, a conversation at dinner, a subtle post online. You say it out loud. This time is different. And the room responds. Encouragement appears. People support you. Someone says they believe in you. Someone says they admire the commitment. For a moment, it feels incredible. A small wave of applause, recognition, attention. Your brain absorbs the signal. It feels like movement, like progress. But the next morning arrives. There is no audience, only the alarm, only the routine, only the repetition, the workout, the reading, the practice, the quiet discomfort of doing the same thing again. No applause, no encouragement, only silence. And slowly motivation begins to fade. Not because the dream changed, because your brain already tasted the reward. You received validation for the idea of transformation. Now the real work feels strangely quiet. And this is where most people stop. Not because they are weak, because they accidentally trained themselves to seek the feeling of change instead of the change itself. There is a psychological mechanism behind this pattern. When you announce a goal publicly, your brain receives an immediate reward signal. Encouragement, approval, recognition. These signals activate dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's language for achievement. But the nervous system cannot perfectly distinguish between real progress and recognition of potential progress. So, when people praise your intention, your brain records a small version of victory, a partial completion, before the work has even begun. And motivation drops, because emotionally, the reward has already been delivered. But there is a second danger. Exposure creates pressure. Now people know. Now they ask questions. How is it going? Still doing it? Did you stay consistent? Suddenly, your private transformation becomes a public narrative. Now you must update, explain, defend, maintain the image. Instead of quietly repeating the actions required for real change, your attention shifts from repetition to perception, from practice to appearance. And the moment appearance matters more than repetition, the work begins to decay from the inside. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire of his time. His decisions shaped the lives of millions. His days were filled with war, political tension, betrayal, pressure. And yet his most important work was invisible. At night, he wrote in a private journal. No audience, no applause, no performance. Just a man training his own mind. The writings we now call meditations were never meant for publication. They were discipline, Marcus understood a truth the modern world forgets. Character is forged in solitude. Real transformation does not need witnesses. A person with inner gravity does not rush to announce change. They let discipline arrive first. They let habits form. They let proof accumulate. Substance before narrative. Evidence before identity. And when the change finally becomes visible, it no longer needs explanation. Stoicism begins with a brutal distinction. Some things belong to you, some things do not. You control your effort, your discipline, your routine, the quality of the next hour, but you do not control recognition, applause, belief, reputation. These belong to the outside world. Most people reverse the order. They chase recognition before discipline. They want the image of progress before progress exists. So they narrate. They talk about becoming disciplined. They talk about becoming focused. They talk about becoming strong. But narration creates pressure. Once people believe a story about who you are becoming, you feel obligated to maintain that story, even when you struggle, even when you doubt, even when motivation disappears. This pressure is fatal, because it replaces practice with performance. Instead of repeating simple habits, you start protecting the story. And stories are fragile. They depend on belief. Standards are different. Standards survive boredom. Standards survive silence. Standards survive the long days where progress feels invisible. Stoicism teaches that identity must follow action, not the other way around. Your character is not built by what you announce. It is built by what you repeat when nobody is watching. Picture a small flame burning in a silent stone room. Amber light flickers against ancient walls. The flame is fragile, not weak, just young. Now imagine carrying that flame into an open storm. The wind does not care about your intention. It does not ask how passionate you feel. It simply blows, and the flame disappears. Not because it lacked potential, because it was exposed before it became strong. Transformation works the same way. Early discipline is delicate. Habits are unstable. Confidence is still forming. Identity is learning to stand. Expose that stage to too many opinions, and doubt enters. Expectation enters. Pressure enters. The flame must fight the wind before it is ready. So protect the flame. Let it grow under glass. Let discipline mature in silence. Because when the fire finally becomes strong, the storm no longer matters. You do not need more inspiration. You need rules. 1. Stop broadcasting beginnings. Not every goal needs witnesses. Not every beginning needs explanation. Roots grow underground, silent, invisible, strong. Protect the early stage of transformation. 2. Routine is your biography. Your promises mean nothing. Your repetitions are your real story. What you repeat when nobody is watching. What you repeat when motivation disappears. That repetition is your character. 3. Keep action ahead of image. Never let the image of progress run ahead of the discipline that creates it. Build first. Speak later. Or say nothing at all. When action leads and image follows, transformation becomes real. There will be a season when it looks like you disappeared. Less talking, fewer posts, no announcements, no explanations. People may assume you lost direction. Others will believe you gave up. Let them. You are not building for applause. You are building for proof. Because the strongest victories are invisible until they are complete. They survive boredom. They survive silence. They survive the long stretch where nothing looks different from the outside. But everything is quietly changing. Disappear to build. Return with proof. And if these words found the silent part of you that understands real change takes time, then perhaps we will meet again further down the road.